Now keep in mind that for an invite, we'll need to set a notification so that because if the person doesn't know that they've been invited, they're not going to accept or decline. Okay, so we will have to do that. So let me come back to my table here and look at group invites so that I see what data I'm required to give here. So there's group ID, user ID, inviter, and disabled. Now, just to confirm that disabled has a default value here, and it actually does. So we can ignore it when setting the data. So ID is ignored. So it's just these three right there. Okay, so a goody goody. So all I need to do now is copy this into the group class. So let's go to our classes and let me look for the group class.php. So create group, accept request, get requests. What other function looks closer to what we need? Apparently none of these. So I will come to accept request. Right next to it, I will create another function. So this one, I will say public function and paste. Like that. Yes. So let's see what we can utilize from these guys. So I'll copy these because we need that for the DB, and I'll copy this system right here. There's no need for us to check whether everything went well. There's no need because it's not that critical. If you try to invite someone and then they're not invited, it's not the end of the world. So no need to check if anything there. We can just do it directly there. Okay, so let's design our query here. So of course, the instead of select, we are going to insert. But the thing is, since we have a disabled thingy here, we can check to see if the user was already invited at some time, and then the disabled part is just disabled. That way we can just enable it instead of creating a new record. Okay, so let's check for where the group ID, user ID, and what else, and the inviter, I guess. Now the thing is, there's a question where if two people invite the same person, so do we create a new record for that invitation or not? So it would be nice to just check if the person is already invited by somebody else. That's entirely up to you. If you want to create a new record or not, that will be up to you. But I think maybe it's okay to create a new record so that they can see if there are multiple people that have invited them to the same group. Maybe they may take it seriously. Okay, so what we will do here is, let me paste again somewhere here, and then check and say if is array check, like so. Just check right there, and then we do something. Okay, so once we reach there, we can return true. That way we don't go down that side, down the other path. So true. All right, so if the record exists, we'll do something in here where we just enable it. If it doesn't, then we do an insert. Okay, so let me do this here and say insert into group underscore invites. Yep. Let's make sure that is indeed the table name, group invites, right? Okay, good. So insert into group invites, then we'll have our columns there, and then some values like so. All right, select all from group invites. All right, so let me change this one as well, group invites. Now, all these IDs are integers here, right? But even though they are not, let's do some sanitization. So group ID is equal to add slashes. Don't use the one that has a C in it. And let's go to group ID. And then I will duplicate this a couple of times and change the type of ID it is. So this one is user ID. This one actually is me, as in the person that is inviting. Okay, so now select all from group invites where group ID is equal to group ID and user ID is equal to, wrong thing to do there, user ID, like that. So, and so where the group ID, the user ID, and what else do we do here? So we don't need to check for disabled. Whether it's disabled or not is irrelevant. So we'll be like group ID is equal to group ID and user ID is equal to user ID and me is equal to, oh, sorry, it should be inviter. That's the column in the table. So me, like that. So don't forget the quotes there and remove the $sign over there, because these are column names. Yeah. Okay. So if we get that, what do we do then? So once we get that, what we do is then we save. But how we save is we use an update instead. So we're going to say update group invites, okay, where I've forgotten something here, but I just want to add the where clause here so that it matches exactly. But actually, to simplify things, instead of having to check where the group ID is equal to that and that, since we've already retrieved the row, we can get the ID from it. So what I will do is I will just say where, let's see, ID is equal to, let me do that, check 0, and then wait a minute, ID, like that. Okay, so that makes things easier, where ID is equal to ID. We'll leave it there. Limit 1. I guess limit 1 is in order because there's only one of these. So update invites set disabled is equal to 0. So if it was disabled, we just enable it. That way we avoid creating an entire row, a new one. And then we're going to return here so that we don't get to this point. But if we do get to this point, we have to add some stuff. So first of all, the columns are group ID, user ID, inviter. Let me just confirm that. So there's group ID, user ID, inviter. Very nice. And then I'll get exactly this and copy it to the other side. So commas, inverted commas, inverted commas, inverted commas, $sign, $sign, $sign. All right, so looking good. Now here, instead of read, obviously it's write. I don't know if it's write or save. You know, I keep forgetting what it is. Is it write or is it save? It's save. Ugh. That was a terrible choice of words. So this one is save and this one is read. Alrighty then, so this is looking good. So invite to group. So let's make it work, shall we? So I'll go back here to invite.php just to make sure everything is in order, and it looks to be. All right, so let's give it a run and see if it actually works. So refresh, invite. Ooh, errors. I love those. Okay, so there we go. We have undefined variable group on line 19. And then we are calling a member function getGroup on a no. Very interesting stuff. So let's go to line 19 where the variable is undefined. So group is undefined. Well, that's because we named it group class here. So my bad. That should sort out all our problems. Now refresh. Oh, again, I guess not. Undefined variable group class on line 30. Well, right here. That is a fatal error. Okay, so fatal error, refresh, and there we go. So we've done our job. Let's check if things are in order, and they look to be. Unfortunately, the inviter is 0. But why is that? Well, my book user ID is right there. That's very interesting. So what I want to do now is just echo out what me is at this point. Yes. Where is this? So I'll copy that, and I'm just going to say show me and then die. That way we can see what it equals. So definitely the problem is not here, because at this point we can actually see it. So let's go to the invite to group function, which is here, and there's me over there and me here. So what did we do wrong? Oh, so the thing we did wrong is right here. We're not supposed to put inviter there, we're supposed to put me. So my bad. Now all I need to do is delete this incomplete data and then refresh my page. We're back here. Let's see if one row was added, and that is a winner. So everything looks good here. Very good. So the only thing we need now is to add a notification to tell the user that something has been you've been invited to a group, and then they can click to go and accept. So in order to accept an invitation, we have to bring them here again so we can utilize the opportunity for them to either check the discussion here and see if this is a kind of group they would want to join, and so on. All right, so see you in the next video.